Hi everyone. So for this assignment, this will probably be the one you're doing second, but if you do it first, that's totally fine as well. This one's going to be a little bit longer, but it is also all a review, so everything should look very familiar. All of these sources you've looked at multiple times. You should even have part of this assignment done. So this assignment is really intended to just get you back on track, thinking about what we were previously learning about before we went on a break, and hopefully get you ready to start your essay when we come back from the spring break. So again, if you are watching this video, you have already completed step 1. Step 2, you're going to review some of these sources. So this is not a comprehensive view of all the sources. This is only about half of them, if maybe less than that. But it's really just to get you thinking again. And there aren't any questions attached, so really what I want you to do is to show me some of the most important parts of the article highlighted, or add a comment of your own on some of these parts, and maybe possible evidence you can use in your essay, or just things that you think are important and possibly led to this continuous tension that rose between this North and the South during the Civil War, or I should say before the Civil War started. So first text is just this textbook excerpt that is about the Compromise of 1850. And then Uncle Tom's Cabin, just a short review of what it was, the importance of it, and then the election of Abraham Lincoln. And then the two sources that are focused on the economy, which is what we talked about the week before we went on break. So we spent a little bit less time on this than the sources that were more focused on slavery. So the Southern economy, the rise of King Cotton, as well as the Northern economy and this kind of industrialization that was happening in the North. So again, what I want you to do is go through all of these sources and just highlight or comment important parts of each article, parts you could possibly use as a piece of evidence. Add your reflections about the different areas that you see possible tension rising between the North and the South. After you get done with that, you're going to go down to step 3, where you're going to rank the causes. So this is in preparation for your essay. And what you're doing on your essay is evaluating the extent to which debates over slavery in the period from 1845 to 1860 led the United States into civil war. So in other words, what you're trying to do is figure out how much did these debates over slavery lead us into the Civil War. In order to do this ranking of all of the different causes we looked at that are listed here, I think I can do like a pointer thing. I don't know, I'm going to try some of these. Some of these tools, I guess I should say. Focus mouse. Oh, cool. Okay. So these are the economic differences, and then the debates over slavery. I don't really like this, actually. Sorry, guys. I'm learning just as much as you. So highlight clicks. Oh, okay. Wow. I should have done this before the video. Anyway, so how much did these debates over slavery lead to the Civil War? If you want to pick other options here that you just remember maybe arguing about during our Socratic seminar, or writing about, or you already have a thesis written about some of these, that's totally fine. You do not have to use the ones that you reviewed above. What you can do is either review your guided notes or go to the essay sources that are linked here to get more information about these topics, or review them a little bit further until you make your decision about what the top 3 causes you're going to choose are here. And then you'll write those in. Next, what you're going to do is brainstorm your thesis statement. So some of you were not here on Friday, or a good portion of you, and so you missed this thesis statement lesson. The thesis statement is completely the most important part of the essay. It is the backbone of your essay. It's going to be really hard to write a really good, solid essay without a good thesis statement. And so I've kind of broken it down for you to choose 3 different options, or 3 different ways that you can argue your essay. So option 1 is saying that debates over slavery were the only reason the Civil War began. So that means that we would be only focusing on these reasons right here. The second option is saying that debates over slavery were important, but economic differences also led the United States into the Civil War. So that's kind of taking a middle ground, saying it was a little bit of both. That means that you would use sources from here as well as sources from here. And then lastly, saying that these debates over slavery had little impact on the Civil War. The sole cause was the economic differences between the North and the South. So this means that you would focus on these two sections. With this one, you do need 3 reasons, so you need to make sure that you figure out 2 reasons within one of the topics so that you can have those 3 reasons in your thesis statement. After that, you will go to step 5. This is to write your introduction paragraph. And so, like I said, this is a review, so a lot of you should have a thesis statement written, which we went over on Friday, and also practice writing on Friday. But you will also be writing your hook and some background information. So I'm actually going to start with the thesis statement because that's what we were on before, and then work my way up to the hook and the background information. So with your thesis statement, depending on what option you picked from up here, option 1, 2, or 3, there are example thesis statements that show what a thesis would look like had you chose option 1, 2, or 3. So option 1, this is my example thesis statement. Debates over slavery had a significant impact on the outbreak of the war because the conflict over the Compromise of 1850, the mass sales of Uncle Tom's Cabin, and the outcry about the decision in the Dred Scott case. So here I assert my position. I say that debates over slavery were the most significant in the outbreak of the war, and I give my 3 reasons, saying that the Compromise of 1850, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and the Dred Scott case were the 3 most important reasons why this war started. And then each body paragraph will be about one of these reasons with evidence that supports this thesis statement. Okay? So that is if I were to argue option 1. The reason that there are highlights and bold parts over these sections is because I do not want to see any thesis statements that are a direct copy of mine. It's important that you insert your own thoughts and ideas for these reasons, okay? Option 2, again, this is taking the middle ground, saying that debates over slavery were important, but economic factors also had a significant impact on the cause of the war. So that would look possibly something like this. Debates over slavery led to the Civil War clearly from the impact the Compromise of 1850 had on rising tensions between the North and the South. However, the Union's reliance on industry and the South's reliance on cotton were also important economic factors in the outbreak of the war. So as you can see here, my first reason is supporting this focus on slavery and the impact it had on the war, and then my second and third reason are focusing on economics. And then option 3, saying debates over slavery were important, but ultimately the economic differences between the North and the South, such as type of production, industry, and tariffs, led the United States into the Civil War. So that third reason would be completely ignoring all of these things that happened here and just saying these two reasons were the reason the Civil War started. Again, here is kind of an overview of what the options are, and then here are specific examples of what a thesis statement should look like depending on which option you choose to argue in your essay. And that will be written down here under thesis statement. And then, but before you start that thesis statement, you always have to introduce your topic to your reader. You have to catch their attention with a hook. This can be a quote, a question, a statement, or a fact about the topic. I actually do, what I'm going to do is link the previous PowerPoint in here, and there are some examples of hook statements that use westward expansion that kind of might give you a better idea of what a hook will look like. And then after your hook, you want to provide some background information on your topic. Remember, sometimes your readers could potentially have no idea what your topic is about or why it should be important to them. So some questions you can address in this background information is, why is the Civil War still important today? Why are the causes important to discuss? Why is there a debate over these causes? Why is the history of slavery important in America? What is some background about slavery in America? How did America get to this to the point of civil war? What are some previous ideas we've learned about in regards to enslaved people in America? And what did enslaved resistance look like pre-Civil War, and how did this relate to the topic? So these are some things that can kind of tie in previous knowledge that you have to this essay that will make it really interesting for your reader and make them want to continue reading your essay, which is what you want. And so the hook will go here. There's kind of an additional sentence starter, and the background information will go here, also additional sentence starters. After you finish that, you can just leave it in this form. You will copy and paste it into your essay when we work on that the week after spring break. And then I just want you to write a reflection. How was the assignment for you? Was it clear? Did you understand what was being asked of you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? Do you feel ready to start writing your essay? And where do you still need support? This is really important for me so that when we come back from spring break, I can be ready to give you that support we need, because your essay is going to be due the Friday we get back from spring break. And I want to make sure you feel supported, not rushed to complete it. And then, as always, if you have more questions about this assignment, please sign up for office hours. This assignment, again, is a review assignment, so you should have done a lot of this work before. If it feels repetitive, I apologize, but I think it's really important for us to just get our brains working again and remember what we were learning about before the last 2 weeks. As always, please stay safe. Ask me any questions if you have questions. My Google number is on Google Classroom, my email, Remind, any way that you want to reach me. Please ask me questions. All right? Have a good rest of your day. Bye.